Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. I don't think I've streamed for quite a long time. But I have some time today, so I thought it'd be nice to stream for you guys and do some Q&A and hopefully calm some nerves. I am obviously on my laptop, so I have to answer Q&A through my phone. So I won't be as responsive as before, and I'm streaming a little bit later. I mean, I am in Eastern time right now, so things are, and of course, I am on vacation, so things are a little hectic in my schedule, I guess, right now. But nevertheless, let's talk some Bitcoin. What is going on with Bitcoin? Well, right now, as you can see, Bitcoin is right around 66.2. Unfortunately, we hit $70,000 just like a day ago. Like day and a half ago, two days ago, right? And unfortunately, we came down since then. So all the hype that built around the Bitcoin conference and what Trump may have said seems to have dissipated, not because of what was said. I think it's just like external factors that's going on right now. Okay, there are a lot of things going on right now, and unfortunately, I think it's just they're just dragging down Bitcoin. Ultimately, that's what's happening. Okay, there's really nothing else to explain. Nothing else was said or done or anything that's really, pulling down the market at this point, right? Not at the conference. Everything actually, in fact, was quite good. And look at this. Look at this bad boy right here. You see the B and this gold water mug or mug in general that I got in my whale gift pass. That's pretty nice. Anyways, so what is bringing down the market though, right? Well, if you look at the US market, okay, look at what's been happening with NASDAQ. Look at this, minus 220. Things just keep getting worse and worse and worse right now. There seems to be a big pullback on tech. That Magnificent Seven has lost within the last month, so since the beginning of this month to now, about 2.6 trillion dollars with the T. That's an average 125 billion per day. That's more than two times the market cap of Bitcoin. Nvidia alone has lost 1 trillion since a month ago. So something's going on right now. There's definitely a major pullback with tech overall. Wall Street is pulling back on tech. Now, I don't know if it's just seasonal or because some are taking profits because tech has been going up and up and up and up, right? That may have something to do with it. But I do think this also has effect on Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin has done very well. And we were just at 70,000 just a day or two ago. But I do think the overall tech sell-off definitely is not helping the situation, even though maybe they didn't directly contribute to Bitcoin's weakness right now. But I do think that there is something going on in Wall Street right now. There's this movement to kind of take profits with tech, but we know this is always short-lived, right? Because tech just continues to go higher and higher and higher and higher, and most of these Magnificent Seven stocks were just at all-time high just like a month ago, right? So there's always cycles, but there's something definitely going on. This is definitely something to pay attention to. Definitely not helping the situation right now, right? So I do think external factors right now is playing a part. Why Bitcoin is still sitting around where we are right now and not at a new high where it should be. Okay, so this something to pay attention to. And of course, we always have the Powell factor, okay? The FOMC factor, which is coming tomorrow. I don't anticipate anything is going to happen. I don't think that there is going to be a rate cut tomorrow. It's in fact almost zero chance that there will be a rate cut tomorrow. But whenever there is, FOMC meeting, you always see this. And generally speaking, after FOMC meeting, so that means tomorrow and Thursday, we may get weakness, and then Friday we come back. I remember the last few, that's what happened. You just have weakness after FOMC, even though nothing weak is said, but that's usually how it is. So, this also probably playing a part into it. And then, of course, it's not just the US. Everyone's waiting to hear what other banks are going to do, right? Bank of England, Bank of Japan, China, they had a couple rate cuts recently. So ECB, which already had one, Bank of Canada had one, some are still holding. So right now we're in that kind of iffy period too, where people are wondering what these central banks are going to do. Are we going to get these massive rate cuts and many of them coming up, or are they going to be delayed till the end of this year and maybe pushed into next year, right? So a lot of factors at play with these rate cuts. Obviously, rate cuts are good for spurring up the economy, makes it cheaper for businesses to borrow. And with that, that makes it so that liquidity you know, swashes around, right? So there's that. That's also kind of dampening the mood right now because many people are anticipating that a rate cut should be coming, right? But then it's not. We're getting, we keep on getting on delayed. There's a lot of talk about maybe we're gonna go get one tomorrow, but it doesn't seem like it. So we have to wait until September. So yeah, we got this going on, but ultimately, right? All this nonsense, all this shenanigans, all the all the quantitative easing and tightening and all the stuff that people really do not trust. Um, because they feel like it just doesn't work. And overall, inflation is never going to go away. And overall, all the things that are being done ultimately it doesn't fix anything, right? So, all these things, honestly, short term, but long term, we know that all fiat is going to debase into nothing. Buying powers are going to crumble to zero. And that's why we have Bitcoin, right? That's why we have Bitcoin. So short term, some of this stuff sucks, but long term, more and more people are being driven to Bitcoin because of it, right? Now, something else that's also kind of dampening the mood right now is Mt. Gox, even though it's looking pretty good. Almost 42% of the Mt. Gox pile that has been distributed, and we still have about 60% to go. But so far, the ones that have been distributed, there's not much selling, right? But this is still a concern because there's still enormous amount out there waiting to be distributed. And of course, we do have like the 12 billion that the Department of Justice still has that is also being distributed and quite possibly sold, right? So, my point of talking about all this is we got a lot of short term FUD, right? Despite all the bullish things that are happening, and despite me showing that long term holders and charts are showing that we are getting ready for the next leg up, despite all these things, right? There's still FUD. And the FUD, unfortunately, is winning out. And some of the selling obviously is not helping the situation, right? So, I mean, whenever you have billions being dumped on the market, it's hard to overcome that, even with long term holders and whales and institution buying. But, billions being dumped, that's hard. That's really hard to overcome. But the good thing is we have seen this playbook before. We have seen FUD before, and every single time we get past it and we form a new high, and no one remembers anymore, right? That's how it always. That's how it's always been. How it works with Bitcoin, right? Now, speaking of large whales, looking at Bitcoin's inflow into ETF today, no surprise. Grayscale, massive 73 million outflow. And we also had small outflows from many other funds. The only one we didn't hear from is BlackRock. And I do think BlackRock is going to again have a massive inflow, just like yesterday. Yesterday seemed bad. Yesterday it seemed like everyone's selling until we got BlackRock's numbers and it was massive 205 million inflow. So we don't have BlackRock's number today. It could be just as massive as yesterday. So that does tell me that institutions and the smart money and the big whales are still loading up on Bitcoin. And this is the time to be doing so when we have this little consolidation period. We have this little fuddish period, right? This is the time to be loading up. I know Larry Fink is. But unfortunately, Grayscale just continues to dump and dump and dump. Not only their Bitcoin, but also ETH. Today, they again sold $120 million worth of ETH. So far, they have sold a whopping 1.9 billion. Okay, $1.9 billion worth of ETH. And that's certainly not helping the situation. That's not helping, right? That's a lot of for the market to try to eat up. So unfortunately, that's still happening. I don't know why. I do kind of know. I can speculate, but I can't, you know, can't say for sure. But I'm just assuming that early investors that's been holding on those East trusts, those shares, now they are redeeming and they're cashing out, right? But it's just horrible, horrible. Even though we had pretty good inflows, but it certainly doesn't make up for the massive outflows. We saw this playbook before with Bitcoin too, so hopefully we do get more inflows, making up for the outflows for at least Ethereum in the future. But we'll see. We will see. But you know what, guys? Like I've been saying, we get a lot of FUD and then we move past it. Okay, it always happens. So right now, besides the big institutions and BlackRock, we do have this kind of war happening where the miners also, the smaller miners, the ones that can't deal with the high hash rate, the high difficulty, the market downturn, they're the ones capitulation is selling. But the ones, the large whales, the ones that have been accumulating for a long time, they continue to do so. So you can see here, minor whale balances, the ones that have anywhere between 1 to 100 Bitcoin, look at it. It's the red line. It keeps going down. But the ones that have between 100 and 1,000, the line keeps going up, right? So we're starting to see some of that capitulation. We have seen charts where it shows the capitulation of the miners have reached pretty much a bottom point. It's about to turn. But this kind of shows you, again, the big boys, the big miners, what they're doing is accumulating. The smaller miners, they are still selling. It's kind of like retail versus institution right now. You probably have retail selling, but institutions buying. It's kind of like the same way with miners, right? But it'll turn around. It'll turn around. Here's the hash ribbons. Kind of shows you when there are golden buying opportunities. And one of those times is now because minor capitulation, there's other charts that show this. Minor capitulation is here. And whenever you have that, it's a pretty good time to be loading up. And one of those times is right now. Right now. Here's another chart. Here's another chart that's showing the halving event and the way things are moving right now. Again, if you discount everything else, if you discount the FUD, you discount the selling, you discount grayscale, you discount the department adjustments, everything, you realize that nothing has really changed. We are still moving according to plan, just like previous halving events, right? So if you discount everything, just know that we haven't really deviated at all. We haven't really gone down or done anything that we haven't seen in previous cycles. So again, what it comes down to is just continue to hold on DCA. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about anything. Just let the gains come to you. That's really it. That's really it. Here's another one that's showing this kind of the same thing. We're right at the point of forming a parabolic run and heading much higher. And every time we form a higher high and a higher low. This time around, the target is $250,000 and could last up to 150 days. That's 3 months. 3 months. No, 6 months. 6 months of upward movement. Okay. So that is what we are waiting for. We are waiting for that parabolic phase to start. You could argue we started already, but I really think once it really starts, there's no looking back. That's when Bitcoin breaks through six figures and alts will be much higher. And yeah, that's when it gets really crazy. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? Trust Wallet, one of my favorite wallets, partners with Ton Chain. For further blockchain adoption, there's no surprise. Trust Wallet, one of the biggest wallet makers out there, and Ton, one of the biggest chains out there, especially since they have games like Hamster Combat, which has surpassed 300 million users. That's kind of crazy. People are getting ready for that airdrop. I don't know what it's going to amount to, but a lot of people are waiting for it. But besides Ton, you have this Avalanche, one of my favorite too, is putting is it not putting is holding 40 is going to hold 42 million card titles. Okay, as a DMV, the California DMV is go put card titles and Avalanche. This is a form of RWA, right? So this is like actually practical, not just like tokenizing yield or bonds or treasuries. This is actually tokenizing card titles. There's so much more that can be done. This is just really the beginning. So I'm glad to see that. That's really it, guys. That's really it. I didn't even pull up CMC. Let's bring it up. Overall, let's see. Let's remove the 1 hour. Let's put a 30 and 60. Overall, it's about about the same. BNB's up. XRP's up. XRP's up 8% for no apparent reason. Probably people are anticipating that the lawsuit will be coming to an end. But overall, we're like pretty even versus yesterday. All right, let's do some Q&A. I have to read it off my phone. So bear with me here. Let me get a drink of water. Using my new Bitcoin mug. And I'm so tired from my travels, I'll tell you that. All right, let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Pat Sully, I'm not gonna read that. Too political. And yeah, I'm not gonna read the what Crozer said as well. Um, when next fights? Man, the last one was great. IFC IFC 3 during Karate Combat 48 was absolutely fantastic. We had thousands and thousands of people. I think it was like 5,000 people in that venue. The biggest fight so far. We had a couple of dropouts for IFC, unfortunately. So, due to health issues, but the next one will be in a couple months. Finally, there'll be a break in August, and the next one will be September during Token 2049. Victor's like, do you know why Dot is dead? Because there's like, I don't know, there's no activity. No one, I don't hear anyone saying, yeah, I'm programming on, you know, on Dot. I'm coming out with a subnet on Dot. What is it called? Subnet on Dot? Or yeah. Well, no, parachain. Silas is also asking about Polkadot. Any thoughts on Dot? I've been buying these sips. I'm not, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not bullish on Dot. I'm not bullish on Dot. And I hear Gavin Wood always votes on these governance votes, and since he has so much dot, he basically overrules everyone. So I don't know if that's really decentralized if you think about it. Meridian Heights. Price prediction for AVAX. Well, I just got done talking about the titles being tokenized at Avalanche. I don't know. I like Avalanche. I think they're gonna be one of the big winners of this cycle, just like previous cycle. So I don't have price prediction, but I think it's gonna go a lot higher. What are your thoughts on Luvium game? You know what? Kurian asked me about it. Asked me if I was interested in like showcasing his stuff. I turned him down. Man, Luvian's been talked about forever, forever, ever, ever. So I'm glad to hear that. I think it's their full-fledged game and not just like another sub game. But I have not been able to check it out, so I can't tell you. But I will say, if it launched, since launch, hasn't done much to the price. But yeah, it's been a long time. I have to look into it. I have not kept up with it, to be honest. Woody Katzen on bass. That just sounds a horrible name. The other George, I do appreciate that. Thank you. Lotto says, ready for the parabolic move so I can quit my job. Add me on that list. Waiting for 250K, and then I'm out of here. How many of you guys watched Deadpool 3, by the way? I saw my kids. They're probably way too young for it, but they enjoyed it. But man, Deadpool 3 did not disappoint. I thought it could be better, to be honest. It moved really, really quickly. Um, but it was probably the most enjoyable Marvel film in a long, long, long time. Long time. Sith Lord. BDC is making me sick. A never-ending roller coaster. You know what? That's why you gotta ignore it. Ignore all the fun and continue to DCA. That's all you need to do. Just DCA, DCA, DCA. That's it. Retail will Retail will come back when Sheeb and Doge will come back and start running. I think they will definitely. I think they will get back to their previous high. Sorry, my camera's kind of goofy, but will they break all-time high and go up another 2x, 3x, 5x? I don't think so. There's too many memes. The money's gonna go into the other ones. Jalamas, you don't need to ask me on Solana. You know how bullish I am on Solana. Uh, when I say retire, probably not gonna retire completely. I do enjoy streams. I do enjoy making videos, but you know, just probably not do it as much. Not do it every day. Maybe just do Sunday walk videos, concentrate on IFC, something like that. Um, the VZ says every coin in top 100 will do at least 10x this cycle. Doesn't matter if it's old or not. I don't agree with you. I don't think everything's going to do 10x. I don't. I used to think that, but I don't think so anymore. I think a lot of money will go into memes this cycle. Julio, first of all, I didn't watch crypto. real strain. And second of all, yes, I'm still very bullish on Solana. Very, very bullish indeed. No, I did not watch it. I don't watch anyone else's video. I'm sorry, I don't. Is Matic dead? It's not dead, but it's just really weak. It is really weak. I'm hoping Matic is not weak and comes back, but I just hear a lot of just kind of like stuff about Matic not being able to scale and getting threatened and really, lost all of its momentum to other L2s. So I don't know about that. I think they will still, catch momentum and get, go up with the cycle, but I just don't know if they're gonna be as strong as their 2021 cycle. Sis Laura, I don't know why you're so frustrated. I don't know when you got in the market, but anyone that's been doing DCA, even my DCA portfolio has been ongoing since 2021. It's still way up in the green. So not quite sure when you got in, but just continue forward, my friend. It'll pay off. It does seem like good news. ADA Solmata cases were dropped by the SEC. That is good news. Basically, what it's coming down to is SEC is dropping all of its cases that are declaring like everything is a security. They realize that that doesn't work anymore. So if they really think something is security, they will just go after them and sue them individually. But before, the SEC was trying to bundle everything together when they were going after exchanges and saying, well, these 10 or these 20 are securities, while not really going after them. So I'm sure there are securities that they do need to go after, but they can't just blanket declare a whole bunch of coin and securities without actually proving it in court. Thoughts on XRP plumbing pretty good today. Really no thoughts. Great for XRP holders. If it can continue to go higher, great. But it is nowhere close to its 2021 high, nowhere close to its 2018 high. So, seeing XRP above $1 would be great. Would reassure a lot of the XRP holders that it can go higher. That's really it. Link or dot? If I had to choose, Link for sure. RB says I bought Bitcoin at 70K, almost 4x. Congratulations. Congratulations. MJ Matrix, Solana ETF not happening in the near future. BlackRock, I don't know. You put a question mark. So what does that mean? What makes you think that's not happening in the future? The deadline for Solana ETFs is like March of next year, but that doesn't mean that we can't get approval later this year. It's still early. It's still, in July. We're not even in August yet. Um, Joe Fonda Ward, thoughts on what? I think what you're saying is Anchor is a long-term position. Man, I have not heard anyone ask about Anchor in a long, 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 long time. They're like a liquid staking platform and a MicroStrategy. Um, Not MicroStrategy. They're like a hosting provider and liquid staking provider. Yeah, they really have not come up since 2021. They were really hot in 2021. Now there's others. You can do fractional staking with them, like micro staking. I don't know. I kind of got off that bandwagon. Just seems like there's too much competition these days. Ethereum to 15,000. Well, I've said that before. So that's like a 5x from here. Can that happen this cycle? Considering Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes to 250, that's like a 4x, right? So if Bitcoin can do a 4x, can Ethereum do a 5x to 15,000? I'm just gonna say yes. Even though Grayscale continues to dump and dump and dump, and that will probably suppress the price for a long time, but I'm just looking at if Bitcoin could do a 4x, then Ethereum could do a 5x, right? Even if Ethereum doesn't do a 5x, does a 4x, that's still putting it at like 13,000. So it's close enough. Any new memes I like? Quite honestly, I've not been following any new memes, so not really. I'm sure there are good ones, but I have not followed any new ones recently. 1/4 of Grayscale's ETH outflows happened yesterday, man. They sold $1.9 billion worth of ETH. I don't know what's going on with ETH or with Grayscale. I really don't. What about Fed? Is it worth it at some point? I would say yes, but I'm really fearful because Coinbase is not supporting the conversion. I think that's going to screw a lot of people. That's going to happen on Gala. A lot of people are going to not know about it and keep Fed on Coinbase, and then when it converts to ASI, they're not going to be able to redeem. So I don't know. CMC listing in 2 days, 56% supply burn, WSB deal. I have no idea what you're talking about. I thought you quit YouTube Live. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Stacks is not a bad coin to hold if you want to pick up some extra BTC just through staking. It's not a fortune, but it's a decent one in the DCA over time. Stacks is definitely a good hold because it goes up and down faster than Bitcoin, right? And there are many developing on Stacks. So, and if you stake Stacks, you get Bitcoin as a reward. That's also positive. So, yeah, I think all good things. Am I drinking from a gold bottle? Yes, the gold Bitcoin bottle. Most of my BTC buying started November of 2023. That's not. You're still way higher now than before, so I'm not sure what you're nervous about. Do you know what happened to Crypto Daily? Years before, I was wondering that too. I think he just got burned out and left. I have no idea why, but he was one of the bigger channels back in the day, and he just kind of like quit. Kind of just quit. Tyler, I know. What's the meaning of life? To reproduce and to buy Bitcoin? I don't know. Oh no. Hellroy, do you think Sol will eventually flip ETH? I've said that before. People don't want to believe it, but I will stick with it. I think it can happen. There's no reason why it can't happen. Um, so yes, yes. Santa Cruz hula hoopers. Really? Why do you think so? Christopher says you should make a documentary about yourself called George Almighty and have people on that follow you for over years. Everyone I've met, basically, I should actually film them and just put in a documentary because it's the same thing. It's like during the Bitcoin conference, like literally, I got stopped by like 100 people, and a lot of them just shared, like, oh, I got in, when Bitcoin was 20,000 or 30,000 because you, or I got in because 2017 and or 2021. Like a lot of people have shared stories on how I've helped them, how I've changed their lives, how I've helped them, stay calm and stay focused through all the up and downs and so forth. Every single conference, I meet a lot of people like that. So if I simply just had someone film them and just kind of put all together, it would actually work. But I have not been doing that. Do you think we'll get a rate cut tomorrow? No. There's gonna be zero chance it'll be tomorrow. I think the rate cuts will be September, which is still okay, but it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be. Um, Not nervous. All on Bitcoin is from Sith Lord. Just wanted to break out. I know I have to be patient. Hard for a non-patient person like me. This channel helps. You know what? I'm really non-patient too, but being in crypto has helped me become more patient because I am very, you know, I don't have a lot of patience. I hate lines. I hate driving in traffic. I hate waiting for things. But when it comes to crypto, this is the thing. You just have to have patience, really. Uh, what do you think about moving my ETH and Bitcoin to Fidelity account? I don't know why you would want to do that. If you self custody is best, Fidelity account doesn't really allow self custody, so I don't know why. So not sure why. I hate reservations that don't take reservations. Also, yes, I do hate that as well. I hate any restaurant that makes you wait for like 30 minutes. When I hear that, I just leave. That's why I like buffets, even though I know buffets aren't very healthy. But like I don't like to wait. I just want to go in a restaurant, get seated and eat. I don't want to go to a restaurant and wait 30 or 40 minutes or an hour. Like I hate that. I hate that. So if there's a way to like skip the line, I would do it if it's worth it, right? Like usually I would pay to skip the line. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Overall, you know the message. Stay strong, stay focused. We got a lot of fun. All right, we got a lot of fun. U.S. market, this tech is selling off. Mt. Gox, Department of Justice. We got this and that. We got some of the smaller miners consolidating. We got a lot of stuff going on, right? But overall, guys, this is what's going to happen. All I'm here to do is make you guys stay strong and focus on the future. That's really it. All you have to do is HODL and DCA. That's how you win at a game of crypto. There's no other magical formula. That's really it. Have patience and stay in the game. All right, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll put out a video. Maybe I'll do it at night. I don't know. Okay. Have a good one. Take care.